Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I have another card featuring a new product from Picket Studios' May release. Leo Girl with her fabulous mane of hair is the newest addition to the Horoscope Girls collection. A fabulous card for either a birthday or really any occasion for the Leos in your life. I'm starting off with an A2 size panel of Bristol Smooth cardstock, which I will later trim down, and I'm going to be doing an ink resist technique. This stamp set includes the zodiac sign, an image of the constellation, and also a sentiment which describes the personality of Leos. These will form the basis of my background, and I have grouped these 3 stamps together on the window of my Misty. The grouping of the images is stamped one at a time with Versamark ink, and then they are embossed using Wow Clear Matte Dull Embossing Powder. I chose matte embossing powder so that my background would remain soft and not detract from the main star of the show, which is Leo Girl. I simply move my panel around and fill in all of my empty spaces, embossing in between each stamping. I'm using one of the medium-sized life-changing blender brushes to apply Distress Oxide inks to my panel. I'm simply randomly applying a combination of abandoned coral, fossilized amber, and salvaged patina. The inks are applied several times, each time extending one color into the next until I have a nice smooth blend. When changing colors of ink, I just give my blender brush a good rub on some paper towel and move on to the next one. When I'm finished, I like to set my panel aside to dry for about an hour, and then I use a microfiber cloth and just give it a really good rub to take off all of the ink that is sitting on the embossing. Leo Girl is stamped on Neenah Classic Crest 110 pound cardstock using Picket Studios Intense Black ink. I don't do anything special to condition a new stamp. I simply just stamp the image twice. When I reuse the stamp, I'm good to go with one stamping. Assuming I get a good impression, of course. The Copic coloring will begin with a medium dark skin tone. I like to work darkest to lightest, and I will be doing her skin with E13, 01, and 00. I start off by applying the darkest tone, which is the E13, to either side of her face to frame it. The ink is applied in short flicking motions, working towards the center of the face. When the Copic marker is flicked off of the page, the ink has lesser concentration, and when the next tone is introduced, it creates a blend. To create some shaping and definition, the E13, the dark tone, is also used along the side of the nose and a little bit of a shadow underneath the nose and underneath the bottom lip. The center of the face is finished up with the lightest tone, E00. To really add lots of depth to her face, 2 more layers of color will be added. When coloring the neck and shoulders, the shadow area is placed underneath her chin and also on her arms and along the top of her tunic. Then I simply work towards the middle on either side with the 2 lighter tones. Her eyes are colored in with a dark brown E59 and a touch of gold using YR16. After placing a little bit of the YR16 also on the eyelids, this same color is used along with YR15 to color in the tunic. Her face is finished up with just a touch of R30 along the cheekbones and on the lips. To give her lips just a little bit more prominence, I use R24 just on the outside edges and blend it out with the R30 again. If any of these products grab your attention and you would like further information, you'll find links in the description of this YouTube video or on my blog at bonniecarolee.com. Leo Girl's hair is absolutely fabulous. I've completed it with a combination of E59, 37, 13 with some highlights using YR16. I'm starting off with a band of color closest to her head using the darkest marker E59 and then blending it out with E37. The rest of her hair will be completed by coloring in strands of hair. I'm starting off with the E37 and just following the stamped lines. I add in the YR16, just following along the edge of the E37. I continue in this manner with the E59, 37, and 13 until I'm happy with the look. I do want to have a bit of a blend, but I still want to see the individual strands of hair. Leo Girl's headband was colored simply using the YR15 and the little ears completed with E37 and 13. He has a little fringe of hair along the headband which was completed with E59. This stamp set has coordinating dies which consist of an outline die for Leo Girl and also a scripty sentiment Leo. Leo Girl will be die cut along with some sheet foam so that she can be stacked. I'm cutting a piece off of Picket Fence Studios' 50-foot roll of black foam. This foam has adhesive on both sides. I often back my panels on foam, and so when I do, I hang on to the backing paper. Because the foam is on a roll, there's only backing paper on the one side. When you want to die cut this foam, backing paper is needed on both of the sides. By hanging on to the backing paper, it can be utilized whenever I want to do die cutting with this foam. And there she is. Not only is she easily stacked, but it'll be just as easy to pop her on the panel. The card front has been trimmed down to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. It is being adhered to black cardstock that measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inches for a thin reveal. It is then popped onto a card base that is A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. The backing paper is removed from the stacked image and she is simply popped onto the card panel. The die cut sentiment Leo was cut 4 times from black cardstock, stacked, and then finished off with a die cut of matte gold cardstock. After the sentiment is adhered, I'm going to add in some highlights using a Sakura Stardust Jelly Roll pen. Sparkling clear will be added to the eyelids and the lips. You might be able to just catch the glint of that sparkle. It is amazing. There's no pen that sparkles like these Jelly Roll pens do. I'm going to finish up with some gold accents using a Uniball pen called Impact Gold. I'm adding it to a couple of curls that come down from the top of her head, the little circle on the headband, the Leo sign on her throat, and then finishing off with that detail along the bottom of the image. This card is wrapped up with some pretty accents from a beautiful sequin mix called Beach Vibes. The sequins are finished off with Nouveau Crystal Drops Morning Dew. The droplets dry clear, giving the sequins a beautiful jewel-like appearance. And that wraps up this horoscope card featuring Leo Girl. Picket Fence Studios Horoscope collection is perfect for a birthday, but really could be used for any occasion. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I appreciate your visit.